Oh no! Our cruise is canceled due to engine failure. So come join Rosie and me, along with our friends Trish and Jay, as we go to Southern California, including San Diego, Temecula, Santa Monica, Dana Point, Catalina Island, and back to San Diego. Saturday, September 21st, Rosie and I flew to San Diego, where we met Trish and Jay at the airport, and we rented a car. We checked in to the sophisticated and swanky Hotel Indigo that sits on the edge of the city's most exciting neighborhood, the Gaslamp District. From the outside bar on the 9th floor, we had a spectacular view of Petco Field. From our hotel, we walked 2 blocks to Basic Pizza for lunch. The pizza was good. The drinks were better. Saturday evening, the division champions, Los Angeles Dodgers, were in town to play the Padres, and we got seats 2 rows from the top. We had a fantastic time at the game. The Dodgers beat the Padres. Sunday, September 22nd, Trish and Jay and Rosie and I are off to the San Diego Zoo to meet our friends, Mark and Bunny. The zoo can be viewed in several ways, along walking paths, an aerial tram, or on a 35-minute bus tour, which is the way we chose to start our day. Come along and see the animals. After the 35-minute guided bus tour, we walked through the zoo to see some of the more popular attractions. The aerial tram provides magnificent views from above the zoo. After the tram, we walked over to see the koala. Next, we saw Baka, a male South African cheetah, and Miley, his female husky mixed domesticated dog companion. The pairing works marvelously, with the dog being the alpha. After our visit to the zoo was completed, we had a late lunch at Casa Guadalajara, and then we went back to Bunny and Mark's home for drinks. Monday, September 23rd. It's Wine Country Day. The 4 of us went and picked up Mark, and we headed to Temecula. Whether you're looking for a quick day trip or planning to stay a couple of days, there's plenty to see and do in Temecula Valley wine country. Wine tastings, winery tours, and an array of winery events are offered daily. Our first stop was at the Villa de Calabro Winery and Olive Oil Company to sample hand-picked, handcrafted Temecula Valley premium wines, extra virgin olive oils, and fresh flavored vinegars. After the tasting, we split a bottle of wine before we moved on to our next stop. The next stop on our wine tour was the Miramonte Winery, one of Southern California's premier artisan wineries. Our guide, Taylor, explained to us the process of making wine. Notice the dust devil in the background. A wine tour is the perfect way to see what all the fuss is about. The tour takes you from the vineyard to the crush pad to the barrel cellar, happily providing rich insight into the entire creative process and offering VIP access to the incredible property. The wine tour is followed by a private, beautifully appointed VIP wine tasting on the spectacular outdoor veranda. After spending over an hour and a half tasting many different kinds of wines, we figured it was time for lunch. Our wine tasting was conducted responsibly. Jay does not drink wine and was our designated driver. Good thing. Our next stop was the Wilson Creek Winery and Vineyards. We took a quick tour of the wine tasting room, but did not do a tasting. For lunch, we headed over to the Creekside Grill. Seasonal ingredients and award-winning Wilson Creek wines are the inspiration for a relaxing experience at the Creekside Grill. After lunch, we headed back to San Diego, dropped Mark at his house, and headed back to the Indigo Hotel. Tuesday, September 24th, we left San Diego and drove to Dana Point. We dropped our luggage off at the Blue Lantern Inn, where we would be staying that night. We then drove to Santa Monica Pier to spend the day. The primary purpose of our trip to Santa Monica Pier was so that Trish could take a ride on the Ferris wheel that she had heard so much about. We waited in a short line, and soon it was our turn to ride the Ferris wheel. We're riding on the big mean Ferris wheel at Santa Monica Pier in California. This is a video of Rosie and Trish going around on the big mean Ferris wheel. They look so scared. Oh, look at Trish, she's biting her nails. It was lunchtime, and from the Ferris wheel we could see a restaurant that would offer spectacular views. We had lunch at Maria Sol Mexican Restaurant. After lunch, we walked on the pier to the end of Route 66, and Jay got a souvenir crushed penny. We arrived back at the Blue Lantern Inn in the late afternoon. The inn is located on a bluff above the Dana Point Yacht Harbor. The Blue Lantern Inn offers guests a savory and delicious breakfast in the morning and wine and hors d'oeuvres in the afternoon. We had arrived in time for happy hour. Wednesday, September 25th, we had breakfast with Trish and Jay at the Blue Lantern Inn. After breakfast, we went over to the Dana Point Harbor to catch the Catalina Express ferry for the hour-and-a-half ride to Catalina Island, where we would spend the next 2 days. Catalina Island is a rocky island off the coast of California. The island is 22 miles long and 8 miles across at its widest point. At about 11:30 a.m., we arrived at Catalina's only city, Avalon, and walked to our hotel, the Vista Del Mar. Located on the 3rd floor, the hotel offers sweeping panoramas of Avalon Bay, and they have free chocolate chip cookies too. After a quick lunch, made up of appetizers. It was time to go ziplining. After a thorough and informative safety course, a bus took us up to the first platform. It was time to go ziplining. There goes Jay.
Boy, that's great. Nowadays you can zip line.
The zip course is made up of 5 separate zip lines. One is as long as 1,100 feet. Our guides were Matt and Kevin.
I missed it when she came in.
On each of the platforms, our guides told us about the unique and interesting aspects of Catalina Island, its wildlife and history. There goes Trish down zip number 3. The safety on the zip line is second to none. There are 2 cables. The gurney is connected to both of the cables. You also wear 2 harnesses. Both harnesses are connected to the gurney. Everything is redundant. That's me jumping off platform number 4. Here's video of my flight. Here I am on platform number 5 as I get hooked up for the 5th and last zip. I turn to shoot video of platform number 5 behind me. Jay and Rosie on platform number 5, and Trish landing on platform number 6 as she completes the zip line course. Our group had a blast. I highly recommend the Catalina zip line. For dinner, we had pizza at Antonio's, and then we called it a night. Thursday, September 26th, we had a quick breakfast, and then it was time for the Cape Canyon expedition. On the Cape Canyon expedition, we experienced Catalina's rugged outback in a 12-passenger H1 Hummer. The expedition is the only scheduled off-road tour that travels into the beautiful Cape Canyon and the steep, rugged Sheep Chute, where Catalina's bison can frequently be seen. As we made our way up the steep, winding roads, we came to the entrance for the zip line tour. Shortly after that, we came to the entrance for the off-road portion of our tour. There was also a sign warning us of the dangerous animals that we might encounter. Around each of the steep and windy corners, there were spectacular views. Around the next corner, there was a lone bison foraging for food on the top of a ridge, and shortly after that, a raven. We passed by a beautiful bay, and then we came to another bison foraging for food.
And I have seen them eat this cactus. They'll just bite right into it. Doesn't seem to bother them at all, but that's one of the ways that they get a little bit of moisture into their diet.
Next, we started our long ascent to what is referred to as the airport in the sky at 1,602 feet above sea level, the Catalina Airport. The airport has a short runway, so only smaller planes land here. The airport is known for its hummingbirds and quail. It is also famous for its buffalo burger and buffalo tacos, not made from meat of the bison on the island. After lunch, we loaded back into the Hummer to continue our off-road adventure. Just over the crest of the hill, we passed the vineyards, Although these vineyards are young and have limited wine production, they are already world famous. After the vineyards, we went down the rocky and rugged road to Parsons Landing. Parsons Landing is a secluded beach camping site located 7 miles west of the village of Two Harbors. The 8 primitive campsites accommodate up to 6 people each and are accessible only via a moderately difficult hike or kayak trip. It may be primitive, but it is beautiful. Jay was climbing on this rock to take pictures of a tall ship that was in the harbor. We would see the tall ship again later in the day. Leaving Parsons Landing, we saw another lone bison foraging for food. Our next stop was to enjoy breathtaking views of Little Harbor, and then we stopped at the Bunker, a listening post used during World War II. We drove by Cottonwood Beach as we continued on the scenic road to Middle Ranch Canyon. As we entered Middle Ranch Canyon, we passed the old stagecoach house. It used to be used as the middle point between Avalon and the other side of the island. At the Middle Ranch habitats, we saw a golden eagle and the magnificent bald eagle. Leaving the animal habitat, we saw a pair of bison right next to the road. Our 4.5-hour Cape Canyon expedition was coming to a conclusion as we passed by the airport again, and soon after that we had another magnificent view of Avalon. Our guide was Kim, and I highly recommend the Cape Canyon expedition. After a long tour, the 4 of us needed some beer and wine in the balcony lobby of our hotel. We watched as the tall ship we had seen earlier in the day sailed by. Our party of 4 turned into a party of 12, and eventually 8 of us went out to dinner at the Avalon Grill. Friday, September 27th. We were up early. We had a ferry to catch back to the mainland. From the balcony lobby of the hotel, we could see a cruise ship in port, and there were Trish and Jay out for an early morning walk. We checked out of our hotel at 9 o'clock and walked back to the harbor to catch the ferry back to Dana Point. The ferry left on time at 9:45. Goodbye, Catalina. At 11:15, we arrived at the Dana Point Harbor. Dana Point participates in the Global Elephant Parade, a socially conscious business enterprise to raise money for elephants around the world. In the early afternoon, we arrived back in San Diego and checked into the Hilton Doubletree Hotel near the airport. We had dinner with Mark and Bunny at the Cafe Coyote. Saturday, September 28th. Our vacation is over. It's time to go home. We had a fabulous trip to Southern California, from San Diego to Temecula to Santa Monica, Dana Point, and Catalina Island. We have memories to last a lifetime. Photos and video by Bill Raffle. Music by Kevin MacLeod.